In 1976, BBC viewers were introduced to Rubovia, a 6-part stop-motion series created by Gordon Murray. Set in a tiny fictional kingdom, the programme focused on the day-to-day lives of King Rufus XIV, Queen Caroline, and their loyal, if sometimes troublesome, subjects. The series was, in fact, a remake of Murray's earlier puppet production, A Rubovian Legend, which first appeared in 1955 and returned for further episodes between 1958 and 1964. The original marionette series established many of the characters, and the whimsical fairy tale setting that would later be recreated in stop motion, introducing audiences to the magical kingdom of Rubovia long before its better-known 1976 revival. Unlike many children's programmes of the period, Rubovia kept its world deliberately small. Rather than bustling towns or large casts of characters, most of the action centred on the royal household and the various problems that found their way through the castle gates. Whether dealing with unexpected visitors, unusual creatures, or problems of their own making, the residents of Rubovia always seem to have something to keep them occupied. King Rufus XIV sits at the centre of the stories. Although he is the ruler of the kingdom, he often finds himself relying on those around him when things don't go according to plan. Alongside him is Queen Caroline, while Albert Weatherspoon provides much of the series' humour through his knack for becoming involved in situations that quickly grow more complicated than intended. Magic plays a role throughout the series, giving the stories a fairy tale atmosphere. Dragons, spells and strange events are all part of life in Rubovia, yet they are treated with the same matter-of-fact approach as everything else. Rather than grand adventures, the stories tend to focus on smaller incidents and the characters' attempts to sort them out. The animation has the distinctive look associated with Gordon Murray's work. The carefully crafted models and miniature sets give the kingdom its own identity, with castles, countryside and interiors packed with detail. Although only 6 episodes were made, considerable effort went into creating a setting that felt complete and lived in. One interesting aspect of the programme is its pace. The stories unfold gently, allowing the characters and setting to take centre stage. There is no rush to reach the conclusion, and much of the enjoyment comes from spending time in the kingdom and watching events develop. To accompany the BBC's Rubovia series, a small range of tie-in merchandise was produced. Among the best-known releases was a 12-inch BBC Records vinyl LP, issued in 1977, featuring narrated stories from the series, including Tunnel Trouble and The Unreliable Wand. The record allowed children to relive the adventures of King Rufus, Albert Weatherspoon, and the inhabitants of Rubovia away from the television screen. Dean and Son also published the Rubovia pop-up book in 1976. Featuring colourful illustrations and interactive pop-up scenes based on Gordon Murray's Magical Kingdom, the book formed part of Dean's popular range of children's television tie-in publications. Other licensed merchandise included a Rubovia board game released by Arrow Games in 1975 and a themed jigsaw puzzle. Although the television series had a relatively short run, the variety of tie-in products reflected its popularity with young audiences and demonstrated the BBC's confidence in the programme's appeal. Because the series consisted of just 6 episodes, it has often been overshadowed by some of the bigger names in British children's television. Yet that short run is part of what makes it intriguing. There is a simplicity to Rubovia that gives it its own charm, relying on strong characters and imaginative storytelling rather than spectacle. Rubovia is one of the lesser-known productions associated with Gordon Murray, but it offers a fascinating glimpse into his style of storytelling. With its fairy tale setting and beautifully crafted animation, it is a programme that deserves to be remembered in its own right. For anyone interested in classic British children's television, Rubovia is a great example that even the smallest kingdoms can have plenty of stories to tell.